Good afternoon and welcome to another round of QBL action. We are in the quarterfinals here at Cornubia Park Sports Complex, watching the Logan Thunder take on the Brisbane Capitals. It is quarterfinals time. Brisbane Capitals coming in number 7th on the ladder and Logan Thunder number 2. Got an amazing game here tonight. I'm joined by John Guana and Dan George in the commentary booth. Dan, what are your expectations here for tonight?
Well, if the men's and also the women's playoffs so far this week are anything to go by, it just shows that finishing second or finishing 7th probably doesn't count for as much as these teams would have thought it would a couple of weeks ago. There's been some really good matchups and a couple of upsets across the league, so I expect Logan to win, and I think they've been a bit of a surprise packet all season, but I think they've got all the pieces that you need to do well in the playoffs. But if Cassie Smith's injury is worse than we think it is, or if Brisbane get hot, they've got enough firepower to cause an upset today as well. But I do think at home Logan will have just enough, but it'll be a great game and a good spectacle for everyone watching in person, also on the stream today.
Yeah, definitely. So we've already seen a couple of really amazing games over the course of the weekend. Heading into the finals, we've already seen Mackay, Gladstone, and Brisbane Spartans go into the semi-finals next weekend. This is the last game in the series for the quarterfinals, and anything could happen, and the semi-finals could pan out in any way, shape, or form at the moment. Now, John, big game here today. What are your expectations?
I think it's going to be a good game. This is a local rivalry, so anytime you have a local rivalry playing in the finals matchup, the intensity level certainly increases. Logan had a couple of tough losses to end the season, so they're not really heading into the finals in the best shape or in the best, momentum. Capitals also the same. I think a big factor this afternoon will be the return of Jackie Luna Castro for Logan. She returned back from overseas this morning, and she's going to play big minutes. She's a really talented player, an unsung hero for the successful Logan Thunder so far this season. I think she's going to be the difference in this game. Dan mentioned Cassie Smith's injury. Cassie has been probably the best player and the most consistent player for the Logan Thunder this whole season. But I think Jackie Luna Castro is going to be the difference maker. I don't know if the Capitals have the firepower to match Logan in this game. I think Logan's going to win this one. I think they're going to win it handily.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think it could go either way as well. Like we said, the game we covered last night, first, 8th, and Rockhampton Rockets did come home in the men's to beat the first place minor premiers, Brisbane Capitals. So anything really could happen here today. And looking at the stat sheet as well, Kate Gaze does lead all scorers coming into today's game on an average of 24.2 points. But you look at the next 4 in the list, and it's all 4 players from Brisbane. Delisha Lloyd, Amy Lewis, Heidi Freeburn, all coming in just after that in terms of top scoring. So Brisbane definitely has the ability to score, and to score in crucial moments as well. We covered their game last Saturday and Sunday. Delisha Lloyd out sick and injured on the Sunday's game, but she is back tonight, and she's going to be a huge impact in the game as well. So just a couple of seconds, it'll tip off now. Leading into the game, our starting 5 for Logan Thunder will be Captain Michaela Donnelly, Sarah Ambrose, Kate Gaze, Ula Matuga, and Cassie Smith. And for the Brisbane Capitals, we have Heidi Freeburn, Kate Hill, Emma Reid, Amy Lewis, and Delisha Lloyd. Tip 1 straight away by the Brisbane Capitals. Nice quick movement around the top of the key to get things started here. Capitals really going to want to fire off early to get a lead over Logan if they're going to keep themselves in, as Cassie Smith gets a nice little steal, but then turns it back over Amy Lewis straight inside for an easy 2.
Probably not the start you want from either team. Both teams turning it over here on their first possession.
Yeah, definitely not a great start, but excellent for Capitals to capitalize on there, as we see Cassie Smith go inside for a 2-point bucket of her own. So we're not at a 2 apiece. Couple of quick, easy points for both teams. As Delisha Lloyd goes hard to the left-hand side, little right-hand flip goes in. Capitals definitely off to a firing start here, trying to get that lead as much as possible early on.
Very intense start from Brisbane. They're going to, at least early here, they're trying to match the speed at which Logan plays. It's similar to last night, Dan. I don't know if Brisbane wants to play that game with Logan.
You see Kate Hill get a nice wing 3 there. She takes the lead back up for Logan. And I'm sure the Capitals as well will be happy to have Coach Beck Dudek back on the sideline as well, after she was away last weekend, so didn't see either Saturday or Sunday's games. Nice little kick pass there from Delisha Lloyd, not able to capitalize on the pass. Pull-up jump shot from Amy Lewis, that's no good, just bounces out. And out of bounds, that one's going to turn over and head towards Logan.
Well, Beck's making up for lost time last weekend. She is vocal as always at the moment, but I think for the Capitals, they're going to try and junk up a little bit. I would think they're going to try and give Logan a lot of different looks, as all teams should, not to let any one team get in any kind of rhythm. So they start the game with a bit of full court pressure back to a zone. They could easily go to a man. And if you look at the Capitals, one thing that stands out for me, Hardy Freeburn aside, is that they're all the same height, meaning they can switch everything, they can play up-tempo. It gives them a lot of versatility defensively, and they're going to stay in the press here. Maybe on every made basket, they're going to try and pressure Logan and see if they can turn the ball over.
Yeah, I 100% agree, Dan. I think we see a nice little wing three-point shot again from Kate Gaze. She's 2 from 2 from out deep. I think you're absolutely right. If Brisbane's going to keep themselves in this game, they do need to play that pressured defense and hope that Logan makes those risky passes and get the steal from it. If they drop back, Logan has the ability to convert on opportunities if they've got the open score down the end. So trying to push up in the front court is going to be crucial.
And I think one of the danger signs for the Capitals so far is that Kate Gaze will score 20 points today. It's just going to happen. But it's whether she scores it on 25 shots or on 15 shots, which will go a long way towards Logan winning or losing. So for her to knock down her first 2 threes, Capitals need to stay focused on her and not let her get hot.
Good offensive rebound there from Delisha Lloyd. She misses that shot, but I think Brisbane's playing a really dangerous game here, Regan, early. They're just trying to speed the game up. That plays right into Logan's hands. They like to play at a fast pace, and they can maintain it for 40 minutes. I don't know if the Capitals can maintain that full 40 minutes of speed and pace that they're playing at. And again, you pick up and you start to play fast-paced. Kate Gaze is going to hurt you, and it's leading to easy buckets for Kate Gaze. Definitely not what Brisbane wants if they want to win this game.
No, you can't leave Kate open as much as she has been in the terms of the first 3.5 minutes of this game here. If you're going to stop her from scoring, she can take 25 shots and make 10, but you've got to put a hand up in her face. You've actually got to make her challenge the shot. If you leave her open, she'll hit 10 from 15 rather than 10 from 25, but she needs to have that hand in her face if she's going to miss the shot.
Well, let's see what happens here if Brisbane can make any adjustments, because at the end of the day, Gaze is going to, like you said, she's going to get her shots off. If they keep speeding up the pace, though, Logan does a good job of reversing the ball and finding Gaze when she's open.
Yeah, Michaela Donnelly's long three is no good. Brisbane now down 6-10 with an opportunity to try and get themselves back into the game a little bit here. Just slowing things down a little bit now, which I 100% agree is definitely what Brisbane needs to do. A rush game plays into Logan's hands. Capitals just need to slow things down and play their own game of basketball, not be put off. So we see a nice little pull-up jump shot from Amy Lewis, just bounces off the front of the rim. Logan with another opportunity in the hands of Michaela Donnelly. As Ambrose pulls up for a very deep 2. Ula Matuga, good offensive board, but just steps out of bounds on the last minute. She'll turn it over for the Capitals.
We're nearly 5 minutes into this game. It feels like they just tipped. It's a frenetic pace.
It's absolutely. There hasn't been too many whistles, and the girls getting up and down. I think one thing that's key for both teams is the rebound count. We saw Matuga get in, working hard for an offensive board a moment ago. But who can control the glass, I think, is going to be vital today.
Inside layup turned over to Logan's. Michaela Donnelly drives hard to the inside, and she's fouled. She'll head to the line for 2 shots. That foul going on the captain, Amy Lewis, for the Capitals. 4.5 minutes in, and that's our first foul as well. So both teams playing a very strong defensive game. Maybe a little bit more standoffish, the Brisbane Capitals playing at the moment. So not playing tough defense, which is probably why they haven't picked themselves up a foul yet. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it has led to a couple of open long shots.
Luna Castro checks in for her first minutes in quite a while. Expectations for Luna Castro coming in and arriving back from overseas this morning. Dan, what do you reckon she can do to get her? Is it the best thing to just play?
I think so. I guess the good part about it is she hasn't been on a holiday or been injured. She's been away playing ball at a pretty high level. So from a basketball point of view, she'll have no problem. She's in shape, ready to go. I just hope she got some sleep on the flight. But for her, she'll just come out and hoop it up, and she'll play well today, I'm sure.
As we see a nice little assist there for Delisha Lloyd, passing inside to Maddie Woodford for the easy 2. 8-11, Capitals down 3. So Michaela Donnelly's long shot bounces out, pulled down the offensive rebound though. Kate Gaze now, pull-up jump shot for a deep 2, that's good. But that's a much better defensive play on Kate Gaze. It was a hand in the face. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a fingertip to touch that as well before it went down.
One of the great things that I like to see with all the teams that we cover There's teams that can play up-tempo, but then if you get into the half court, can you slow down and can you run a set? And we saw Logan, offensive rebound. Kate Gaze calls a play, which is that double horn set at the top. She comes off, executes, gets a shot and knock it down. So Logan can show that they can play half-court grind out offense and they can also go up and down. And that's why the Capitals have to really be careful of tempo here. As Kate Gaze, by the way, could go for 40 the way she's looking.
She's got 13 already. She's 5 of 6 from the field. She's a perfect 3 of 3 from deep.
Yeah, having an absolutely amazing game. She got the steal down the other end as well, pickpocketing the Capitals. Come down the other end, one quick pass off, gets it back and drains that 3. I think Capitals really need to just step back and possibly have a timeout sometime soon to work out what they're going to do about Kate Gaze, because she scored 13 of Thunder's 16 points as the Capitals go for an offensive foul. That's going to go against Alicia Lloyd for the illegal screen.
Yeah, Delisha Lloyd just stepping into that screen a little bit too strong, moving the feet, sliding over it to create the contact and the space.
Logan Thunder going to the bench. Mila Goodchild checking in for Sarah Ambrose. Her first minutes for the game. Inside layup, no good for Cassie Smith. Turns it over. Heidi Freeburn coming down with the ball. Inside pass, Alicia Lloyd. Turnaround step back jumper. That's good for 2.
That's a tough shot, too, fellas. Fading away like that.
And
shows her class.
She juggled the catch as well. And she steals it on the other end.
Nice fast play there from the Capitals. Just hits the foot, though, so that's going to go to the baseline for a baseline play. Just confirming as well, guys, score is 10-16. There was a little bit of an issue that went up on the scoreboard before. They had it tied at 13-all, but they did adjust those points back to 10-16. So Logan Thunder leading by 6. Well, nice little inside play there.
We got it right. Good old Joel on the production panels on all over the scoreboard.
There you go. Nothing but media getting it right where the scoreboard here is not. Cassie Smith steps back for a long 3. That one's good. She extends the lead out to 9 for Logan.
Logan's 4 of 3 from three-point land to start this afternoon. If the three-point shot is falling, guys.
Did you say 4 of 3?
Did I say that? I meant 4 or 5.
That is incredible shooting.
125%.
That's how you know you're performing.
4 or 5. I should correct myself. Thank you, Dan.
Heidi Freeburn, little inside inside finger roll. That's no good. Bounces out and a foul is called on the rebound as well. That one, it's going to go against, I think that's going against Aldred. So turning over the Capitals, heading back the way of Logan. So 3 fouls to 0 now for the Capitals, just finding themselves in a little bit of foul trouble. Logan's still yet to pick up a foul. Playing very strong defense on the inside and just keeping their hands out. As Ula Matuga goes for her first shot of the night, and that's good. That flight definitely didn't impact her at all. 10-21. The timeout taken on the floor. Coach Dudek not happy with what she sees, so they're going to take a break. We're going to have one as well. But we'll be back shortly with more live QBL quarterfinal action from Cornubia Sports Complex, presented by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. And welcome back. Brisbane Capitals versus Logan Thunder in QBL women's quarterfinal action. Logan Thunder really taking things out hard to start out with. 21-10, they're out by 11 points over the Capitals. Just no one from the Capitals being able to stop Kate Gaze. She's come absolutely firing out of the gates. John, what do you have to do for the Capitals to stop her hot streak?
Well, I don't know if you can. When Kate Gaze gets hot like this, there's pretty much nothing you can do except hope and pray that the next shot misses, because when she's in the zone, she is seriously in the zone, and she has started out a house on fire. 5 of 6 from the field, 2 of 3 from 2, a perfect 3 of 3 from 3. She's got 13 points to lead all scorers. She's outscoring Brisbane all on her own.
Yeah, absolutely amazing performance straight off the block from Kate Gaze. She's going to have an absolute blinder, and Dan, as you said, she could go for 40 tonight if they don't stop her. So you see Delisha Lloyd take a nice little step back jumper. That's good as well.
But you can't do anything. Delisha Lloyd can do it from outside, can do it from inside. You give her the jump shot, she's going to take it, and it's almost like a layup for Delisha Lloyd, especially from the elbow.
Yeah, I think the Capitals really missed her last Sunday, and that's in that last round game that we did cover. As you see, Mila Goodchild step back for a three-pointer as well. That's drained too. Just Logan Thunder cannot be stopped from three-point land here today.
Yeah, they're now 5 of 4, Dan.
There you go. They are maintaining the percentage, and the Capitals are playing well. And Delisha Lloyd, you would look from what we've seen so far like she has to remain the focus point. I'm always trying to bite my tongue a little bit. I'm not sure how to word things sometimes, but I'm just concerned for the Capitals' composure almost. And like, it starts at the top, and I mean their coach at the moment is incredibly intense, and you just don't want them as players to feed off that and become incredibly intense too. You just want them to stay in the system. By this stage in the season, they should know how they want to play. And if your leader is overly emotional, sometimes that's hard to play with, and in a playoff game on the road, you want to stay composed for 40 minutes. That's part of the challenge.
So we come down the far end of the court. Logan Thunder going to pick themselves up an offensive foul. I'm not too sure what happened there. I didn't see that one, Johnny, but it just looks like there was a bit of an elbow going on the inside.
Yeah, it was just a clear-out play, using the shoulder to create the space to go for the layup attempt. It was good positioning on the defensive end for Brisbane. Just a little overly physical. But referee's doing a good job, I think, letting the teams play. I like when the referees do this, because remember, guys, I say it a lot, but basketball is a physical game. You're allowed to make body contact. It's just those overly aggressive plays, and the referee's doing a good job to start the game this afternoon.
I agree, John, and I think if you're a coach, a turnover is never something you're happy with, but if you have a turnover where you're going aggressive, trying to seal up, you can live with those.
Yeah, definitely so. And I mean, Logan had a very good start to the game as well, taking roughly 8 minutes before they even picked up their first foul. Picked up two very, very quick ones in a row. So 3-2 in the foul count in the first quarter. It is a very physical game, but very, very well officiated. Kate Gaze now going to work yet again. Pull-up jump shot from the free throw line. And again, nothing but net on the jump shot. Kate Gaze is on fire.
And Logan are going to have to try different things. And I'd like to see Grace Champion play. Every time I've seen her on our broadcast, she shot the ball really well, plays with a really nice tempo to her game. And defensively, she might be able to, someone that you could throw at Kate just to give her a different look. So hopefully she does get minutes soon.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I think that first game we covered at the Brisbane Capitals, I think Grace Champion ended up going about 5 from 6 from three-point land as well.
She might have gone 6 from 5 on one game we saw.
That's going to be the game here tonight. We're working backwards.
That's it. Now, Champion definitely gives them that shooting threat. It's all about confidence, though, Dan. You know that when you're confident, when you see that first one go down, if you can maintain the confidence levels, and once you see that first one go down, especially for Champion, she needs to see that shot go. But they need someone to step up here at the moment. They've only got 12 points with 15 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Well, and I think the confidence piece as well. That's why it's good to get some of these girls minutes early on, not just girls, guys too, when we're covering men's games, but just to see the court, get a feel for the action, it's a good thing.
So Heidi Freeburn picked up a quick little foul there with only 15 seconds left to go.
I think Harvey George is playing with a bit of confidence this afternoon. He's got his game face on. He's here to run ruckus.
Well, the Nothing But Net Media crew has covered Ben Simmons, #1 pick, Lonzo Ball, #2 pick. We've got the 2035 lottery pick in the house today, fellas.
Harvey George in the house. Book it, lock him in. 2033, #1 overall NBA draft pick.
Inside layup gets nothing but air from Amy Lewis as that takes us into the quarter time break. Brisbane Capitals struggling to find their form. It looks like we'll have a foul on that shot, though.
Yeah, I think there was a foul called. So Delisha Lloyd's going to go to the free throw line for 2 shots. It's a bit intimidating, Dan. You ever been in this position where the court's cleared and you're at the free throw line all alone?
Yeah, I don't like it. Usually when you're a player, you're used to shooting as Harvey gets some court time. You're used to shooting, obviously, with a lineup, so it's a bit different, but I'm sure she's taken plenty of shots on her own in a gym before and able to knock it down.
Yeah, as Delisha Lloyd knocks down both free throws, taking the lead out for the Logan Thunder, 28-14. They're up by 14. We'll head into a quarter-time break and come back with some statistics for you shortly. So this has been QBL quarterfinal action presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sports Australia. And welcome back to Canubia Park Sports Complex as we continue to bring you quarterfinal women's action here as we watch the Logan Thunder take on the Brisbane Capitals. Having a look at the stats early on, Dan, you got the sheet in front of you. What stands out?
Well, for a game that's pretty even, the stats are relatively even for the first part of the quarter, you'd think, but Logan just absolutely separating themselves as the quarter finished out, and they're winning the rebound count. They've got less turnovers. Across the board, they're just looking better, and obviously the shooting percentages, 5 or 6 from downtown. Kate Gage 3 of 3. They're shooting the ball really well too, so it's no surprise that they've built the margin that they have.
Oh, they're scoring off of their Brisbane turnovers as well. They got 7 points off of turnovers. There was 6 turnovers for Brisbane, so definitely got to do a better job tidying that up. But Brisbane needs to contest shots, and they can't give up easy layups. At the moment, you see the points in the paint for Logan. It's only 2, but it feels like a lot more than that, Dan, because they're doing a good job on the glass as well. Logan, you look at them, they're out rebounding Brisbane 10-7. 2 of those are offensive rebounds as well. So, and again, Logan getting contributions from everybody. Kate Gaze has the 15, but there's 5 other players that are on the board. So, to double up already in the first quarter, not the start that the Capitals were after.
Yeah, I think sorry, Regan, I was going to say most of Gaz's shots have come out of offense. So, it doesn't matter who's shooting it. They're running the sets that they want to run to get good-looking shots, and Kate Gaze has been able to knock them down. But Cassie Smith scored. Matuga's been really good. So they're running good offense, Logan.
Good hands there from Lewis. Gaze, though, recovers for Logan. They've got 8 on the shot clock.
Nice little shot fake there from Cassie Smith. She goes around to the right. 2 seconds on the shot clock as Kate Gaze takes a wide jumper. That one's no good. Bounces around, gets her own rebound in the end. Misses the putback as Delisha Lloyd comes down with it, absolutely firing down the court. Quick little handoff to Lewis as she goes in for the left-hand layup. She puts that one away for 2 as well. Point I was going to say before as well, it's good to see that Brisbane is working on what they do well. Of their 16 points, 12 of them have been in the paint. So they really are focusing on what they do well. They're getting the ball inside, they're working it around, and they're taking those easy jump shots from the inside. They're not taking too many long ones to try and rack up easy threes.
And Logan doing a good job on the other end too. They're contesting shots. That previous bucket by Amy Lewis, that was not easy by all means. Ambrose had a good job defensively contesting the shot. Lewis, though, just stopped, popped, and then did the step through. That is not an easy thing to do.
Delisha Lloyd, as she turns around jump shot from the free throw line and just sinks it. She's got that turnaround jump shot absolutely nailed. I think that's her 2nd or 3rd turnaround for the night.
Yeah, Lloyd is shooting the ball really well also. She's 4 of 5 from the field. Doing a good job. She's 2 of 2 from the free throw line as well. She's one of the better all-around players. She can shoot the ball. She can put it on the floor. She can defend. She's not really a big, but she can play big, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and turnaround on the floor as Sarah Ambrose picks up an illegal screen. Lots of offensive fouls on the floor here tonight. There's got to be at least 4 or 5 in the quarter and a little bit of action. So Brisbane Capitals with it now as Delisha Lloyd looks to go to work on Ambrose. Kicks out, long shot attempt for the 3-point. That bounces out. Emma Reed's no good.
I think the tempo is suiting Brisbane much better than it did in the first quarter, though, and hopefully for them they can start to knock some shots down, but they're playing at a much better pace than what I think they started the game at.
Yeah, Capitals definitely starting to play a much tighter game on Kate Gaze as well. As she takes another jump shot that bounces out. as Delisha Lloyd turns around, takes her own jumper, and that one goes good for 2.
And Coach Ken going to take a timeout. Doesn't like the tempo here, so he wants to change things up. But Dan, I got to say, we've covered a lot of men's and women's games. Delisha Lloyd makes a jump shot look like a layup more than anyone I've seen in either the men or the women's competition. If she gets her feet set, it's almost cash.
It's rare, isn't it? Someone, especially mid-range, either we see people wanting to shoot threes or trying to get to the rim, but her mid-range game is unstoppable. And you're right, excuse me, that jump shot is money, and she's feeling it today, and that obviously opens everything else up for her teammates. It gives her the ability to shot they can get to the hoop later in the game. So really good signs. But like we said a minute ago, back to 8 points. I think the tempo that the Capitals come out with is much better, much suited to what they started the game at. And maybe there was some nerves, maybe their original scattering report didn't quite work the way they thought it would, whatever it was. But I think they seem to have found their feet here in the second quarter.
Yeah, well, Delisha Lloyd is definitely shooting the lights out tonight. She's 5 from 6 at 83% from the field and 2 from 2, 100% from the free throw. So she really does, once her feet are set, doesn't matter where she is on the court, she can hit that shot no matter what.
Yeah, she's doing a great job this afternoon, really keeping Brisbane in this one. It's almost a one-on-one battle. You look at the stat sheet, Delisha Lloyd has 12 for Brisbane, and Kate Gaze has 15 for Logan. The next highest scorer for Brisbane is 4 for Amy Lewis. And then you look at Logan, the next leading scorer for them has 5 points, and that's Cassie Smith. Excuse me, that's not Cassie Smith, that's Chris. Yeah, it is Cassie Smith. Got my numbers confused there for a second.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a one-on-one battle, but I'm pretty sure that's going to change very, very shortly, especially from the Logan Thunder. With Ula Matuga back on the court after playing overseas for the last couple of weeks, I'm just waiting for her to start firing from deep as well. Logan's starting to settle things down now. They've got 10 seconds left on the shot clock. As the ball gets passed out wide, long shot no good from Chris Ohm.
Yeah, Chris Ohm missed that three-point shot. It was wide open. It was a really high arcing shot.
Foot violation on the court, so that's going to set up a new 14-second shot clock for the Capitals, giving them an opportunity to hopefully set up a play to bring the lead back down to 6. Delisha Lloyd gets set, fires from wide. That bounces out no good though. Looks like she might have done a little bit of damage as well, just cringing a little bit on the ankle. It's come down the other end, and Michaela Donnelly drives inside. That's no good either.
Yeah, very much you see Logan attacking in transition. They want to try and catch you sleeping defensively.
Ula Matuga turnaround jump shot. That goes home for 2 as well.
Yeah, it's Luna Castro. That's her second bucket on the afternoon. She's starting to find her feet a little bit after arriving from overseas this morning.
Yeah, well, I did say that she was going to have to start firing soon. I mean, she's been playing some amazing ball overseas, so you would expect her to come back off that plane and start firing straight away.
Yeah, played for the Mexican national team in the FIBA Americas tournament. Really honored. I know that was a goal of her, a personal goal of hers. So to accomplish that at this stage of her career, just a fantastic opportunity and a really great representation for the QBL as well. It's not too often you see someone playing for a national team at that level coming in and playing in the QBL.
Logan with it now as Cassie Smith takes a very deep 2. That hits nothing but net, taking the lead out to 12 for the Logan Thunder. And again, this quarter seems to be flying by as well. Like you said, we're 4 minutes into the first quarter and it feels like we'd only just tipped. It's the same here in the second. The referee's doing a really good job just to maintain the game and keep the foul count down and just letting the girls play. So Amy Lewis takes a wide jump shot of her own for 2.
Yeah, they really do need Lewis to start contributing offensively. That was only her 3rd bucket on 8 attempts. But she's another player that's capable of finding that hot streak.
Sarah Ambrose takes her own deep shot. That bounces out. Heidi Freeburn comes down with it for the Capitals.
And fellas, I know we've seen Logan shooting the ball really well so far this afternoon, as Lloyd can't get one to go, but I think they'd be happy that Logan is almost exclusively shooting jump shots. There's not a lot going to the rim, and when they do go to the rim, they're not converting. So, and if Logan beats you by shooting 60% from the three-point line, I guess you tip your hat to them, but I think the Capitals would live with that and take their chances.
Yeah, when you look at the stat sheet, I mean, Logan only has 4 points in the paint versus Capitals 14. So you're absolutely right, Dan. I mean, Capitals have got to be happy with the fact that all of Logan points are coming from deep, so they're playing up defensively strong. Logan just draining the long shots and getting lucky with them, but you'd much prefer them to shoot from deep than get inside, get some feet in the paint and take an easy open layup.
And it keeps the Caps girls out of foul trouble too, and like we said earlier, we see Luna Castro in there. Cassie Smith's got really good size. A couple of girls on the Logan bench, Sarah Ambrose and the like, have good size as well. But so that they have the advantage, Logan interior. But the Capitals, the smaller girls, they're showing their athleticism and their speed, and so far, although we've missed it there, they're not getting hurt on the glass too much.
Yeah, as Cassie Smith's second free throw bounces out, but Luna Castro getting the nice easy rebound underneath. There was almost no competition and gets the punt back for an easy 2.
We've seen Logan a few times this year, Dan, and for me, they look the best. Obviously when they're running, but when they're in the half court, getting that post touch, like you said, to Cassie Smith or Luna Castro and working in and out. There you go. You see the post touch to Luna Castro. They cut off that post touch, and that's just a great bucket for Logan, and that's available to them all afternoon if they go to it.
As Coach Dudek fires up, I think they requested a timeout. The bench did hit the siren as well, but the referee's just not hearing it. So we continue to play here. 22-37 the score. Delisha Lloyd kick out pass, but can't be taken by Maddie Woodford. Capitals get their timeout now, so they're going to go to the bench. Dudek really not happy with the way the girls are performing as the lead extends out to 15. So we'll take a bit of a break here as well, but we'll be back with you shortly for more QBL quarterfinal action live from Canubia Park Sports Complex, presented by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. And we're back with you here at Canubia Park Sports Complex as we continue to bring you the Logan Thunder versus the Brisbane Capitals in QBL quarterfinal action. Logan Thunder really starting to take things away in this second quarter. They lead by 15. Coach Dudek took her time out to really start to try and fire the girls up. The Capitals needing to pull something out here in the last 5 minutes of this second quarter. Dan, what do you think the Capitals are going to have to come out with in order to get this lead back down from 15 in this second?
Well, you're right. She seems to be wanting to fire the girls up, but I don't think that's the problem. They're playing really hard. I think they need strategy and structure and ideas and coaching and scouting because the effort can't be faulted. You can see them working really hard out there. So hopefully half-time or the next time out, or whenever it is they talk next, there's some constructive coaching going on as well as just yelling and energizing because so far they look like they're playing tough, but Logan are just outplaying them in terms of the structures they're running.
Yeah, I definitely agree as well. I mean, it's not like Capitals are really doing anything wrong as we see Amy Lewis get blocked from behind by Luna Castro. Capitals, they're not really doing anything wrong. Logan are just, they've really on form here today as they're hitting shots from absolutely everywhere, shooting at a very, very high percentage. They're 50% from the field, and they're just converting on every opportunity. But Capitals are doing everything they possibly can to try and reduce this lead. But Logan are just playing an absolutely blitzing game.
Well, finals basketball is different to regular season. We all know that. And it's all about matchups, and I think Brisbane match up pretty well if you look at the personnel. But who's going to execute the best as we see Champion coming off the bench, which I think is a great sign and something that's a little bit overdue for the Capitals. But what are they going to run? Okay, girls, we're down 17. We need a bucket. Let's run this set play that we've been practicing for the last month to get a good look for somebody. That's what I'm waiting to see from the Capitals now. What are they going to run to get, for example, Delisha Lloyd an open look?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more as well as Grace Champion will step on the court for her first minutes of the game. I think it's a little bit overdue as well. Every game that we've covered for the Capitals, Champion's come off the bench and she's had some absolutely blitzing games. That first game that we covered, she probably hit, you were right, 5 from 6 from the three-point line. And she's been playing some really strong defense as well to help the girls out. So subs on the court, and it looks like Logan is going to go to the bench for a timeout. So we'll take another quick break as well. But we'll be back with you shortly for more QBL quarterfinal action from Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. And welcome back to Cornubia Park Sports Complex. Maybe V-Dog's right. Maybe I do need that bourbon after all. As we continue to bring you the Logan Thunder versus the Brisbane Capitals in quarterfinal QBL action. Logan Thunder really starting to take this lead out. They're up by 19, 41-22 with just over 3.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Logan there taking the timeout just to restructure and probably settle things down a little bit and continue chipping away at the lead they already have.
Well, it's been a better quarter, definitely, for Brisbane. They're outscoring, or they're only down 5 in this quarter after getting doubled up in the first quarter. I think what's happening is they're struggling offensively. Defensively, I think they're doing a pretty good job. Logan, though, starting to build a little momentum heading into the halftime.
Yeah, both teams taking a very similar amount of shots as well. So when you look at the stat sheets, we see Grace Champion take a deep 2, just bounces off the side of the rim. Logan's taken 30 shots and converted 16 versus Brisbane taking 26 and only converting 10. So you look at the stat sheet, both teams taking the same amount of shots. Logan just getting a couple more to fall through the bottom of the bucket. Does make a big difference overall. So we see a little inside foul there. That one's going to go against, I believe that's going against Alicia Lloyd. Just the hand check on the inside. Only the second foul for the Capitals in the quarter in 7 minutes of basketball. So both teams, again, playing a very strong defensive game and defensively not fouling and letting the game flow, which is really great to see as well.
I think that particularly favors Logan, to be honest with you. You allow that lack of, I guess, game stoppage. It allows Logan to maintain their pace that they want to play and continue to flow.
Ooh, as Delisha Lloyd just twists on her ankle. That did not look pleasant at all. They will get the ball back as it's tipped out of court by Logan. But I think you're absolutely right there, John. Logan really does favor that fast-paced game. They've got those quick hand movements, and they can take that very quick pull-up jump shot and still get the high percentage shot as well.
Well, you hear it week in and week out when Dan and Dave call the games with us, but they say it's harder when you have a team that plays fast-paced. If they're not pulling the ball out of the basket, or they're starting from a made basket or from an out-of-bounds play, it just makes them forces them to slow things down and not get that fast break action, and that's exactly what's happening here for Logan this afternoon.
Yeah, and you look at the rebound count as well. Logan is pulling a couple more boards, especially offensively. Logan pulling down 18 boards overall, 6 offensive and 12 defensive, versus the Capitals, who are only on 14 in that category. So it's definitely benefiting them. They're taking those quick shots, but they're getting inside, crashing the boards, and pulling down the boards as well. So after that 24-second shot clock, Luna Castro, she takes a nice long jump shot. That hits nothing but the bottom of the net.
Yeah, Luna Castro is an impressive player.
Yeah, that bucket there will whack up her 10th point for the night as well. So she hits double figures. Not many plays in that category here at the moment. We've got Kate Gaze, Cassie Smith, and Luna Castro in double figures, and only Delisha Lloyd from the Capitals. She's got a turnover here, and
I like what Donnelly did there, kind of slowing down. It wasn't available. Bring it back out.
Luna Castro, again, nice open jump shot. That goes in for 2 as well. No defense, and that's what's really going to start letting Brisbane down. Aldred just stepping back, not quite getting the hand up close enough in the face to prevent that from going in.
You're right, John, and I mean, Michaela Donnelly's smart enough to say we've either got a layup, or if we don't, we're going to pull it out and run something, and they got Luna Castro a wide open shot, which obviously she's able to knock it down. Whereas Brisbane at the other end aren't really able to find that balance between, do we attack or do we pull it out? And if we do pull it out, what are we going to run? And we can talk about Kate Gay shooting well and these girls all playing such good offense for Logan, but to keep anybody to 22 points, for some teams, that's the goal per quarter, let alone per half defensively. So Brisbane just really struggling to score, and they're going to have to go back and drop different plays and run their offense with a lot more purpose if they're going to generate some good quality looks in the second half.
And how good has Luna Castro been? The first few shots she had were a little bit off, a bit short. You could see she's probably struggling a little bit with getting that energy level up, but now that the blood's flowing, she's into the game. She adds another dimension to this Logan team. The last time we were here, she was out, and they took that tough loss to Ipswich. She's a difference maker in this competition, and I really do believe that Logan is a true contender. Everyone was sleeping on them even as they finished second on the ladder, but on their day, they're going to be a really, really tough out.
Well, Coach Can has shown that he's got his girls, and it helps when you have, unlucky not to get the roll. When you've got veteran leadership like Donnelly, like Cassie Smith, like Kate Gaze, and also these other young girls who are just oozing with quality and talent. We have a minute 20 left in the half. But Logan have shown today that they can play really disciplined, really structured offense, and that's what wins titles in the playoffs.
Yeah, Capitals now with their opportunity to try and score. 24-47 the deficit as Delisha Lloyd, step back three, gets nothing but air. Mila Goodchild coming down with the rebound. Very unfortunate down the other end just before Mila Goodchild's three-point shot ended up going in after hitting the support. Coaching staff at Logan not real happy with that. Brisbane Capitals now back with the ball. Nice upstep pass to Delisha Lloyd. Can't quite get the roll to fall in her favour. Goodchild again coming down with the board.
Those are tough ones. If the Capitals are going to win this game, they need to convert on those opportunities. It's not going to get much easier than that for Brisbane.
Well, she did a really good job too, stopping at the foul line, sealing up, got a good pass. You're right, got to be able to knock those down. She did all the hard work, just couldn't reward herself.
Yeah, Mila Goodchild's next three-point shot just bounced off the front of the rim, but there's going to be a foul getting called on the rebound. That going against number 14 for the Brisbane Capitals, Amy Lewis. So 30 seconds left on the game clock, 14 seconds on the shot clock. Logan will hold out for the second last play of the game as a nice quick turnaround jump shot bounces off the front of the rim. Capitals now about 3-second differential between game clock and shot clock. They'll probably end up holding for the last shot of the game. Possibly not as they go inside nice and strong. Grace Champion getting the open bucket. 7 seconds left on the game clock. Logan rushing down the court to hold up for the last shot. Michaela Donnelly goes right, finger roll, just rolls off the front of the rim. Going into the half, it is 26-47. Logan up by 21 into halftime.
It was full of action that first half, really. I think, again, Logan is just doing a great job getting their offense where they wanted to, Dan, playing the game at their pace. They were able to really stamp their authority on that first half. The first quarter was where it was at, I thought, but in the second quarter, I thought Brisbane started off well, but in that second half of the quarter, Logan started to run away.
I think you're right. Brisbane definitely started the second quarter playing with a much better tempo that suited their style of hoops, I think. But one of the problems was that Logan's defense has just been too good and they've been able to really lock in, and to keep anybody to 26 points, let alone in a finals game, is an awesome effort. So offensively, we can talk about them all day long. It's the defense that they've shown why they're contenders legitimately for the title.
And Logan, again, they got the contribution from Gaze to start them off really early there. She tailed off a little bit, but then Jackie Luna Castro stepped up and was able to hit 4 of 6 shots. She's already in double figures. If you get the two of them going at the same time, it's going to be a really long second half for Brisbane.
Yeah, it's very, very hard when both of those girls are performing as well as they are. And you got Cassie Smith as well, not to be outdone. She's getting up there as well, doing some amazing work on the inside. But that is halftime, guys, 26-47. We're going to take a quick break before we bring you the second half action in the quarterfinal here. So we'll take a quick rest. We'll be back with you shortly for more live QBL quarterfinal action presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. And welcome back to Cornubia Park Sports Complex as we continue to bring you the second half action with the Logan Thunder taking on the Brisbane Capitals in QBL quarterfinal action. Having a look at the stats, John, you've got them up in front of you. Really great game played by both teams so far. Brisbane just not able to convert some of the shots. We're playing a very strong defensive game. And realistically, offensively, they're making some right decisions. They just can't seem to get the ball to drop. But having a look at the stats, how are things panning out?
Well, you look at the team statistics in front of you there, and Logan's shooting the ball at a 66% clip. That's the free throws. I'm looking at the wrong one. Sorry, they're shooting at a 50% clip nonetheless, and that's going to be way too much if you want to stop the Logan Thunder. They're also shooting 50% from 3, 50% from 2, and they've got to the free throw line only 6 times. They hit 4 of those. So shooting percentage-wise, Logan doing a great job. Of course, being led by Kate Gaze. She's 7 of 11 from the field with 17 points. She's a perfect 3 of 3 from beyond the arc. Then you've got Jackie Luna Castro, who's coming in off the bench this afternoon. She's 6 of 7 from the field, so you got to get a hand in her face. You got to contest in that. She's got 12. Cassie Smith has 10 as well. So overall, you know, for Logan, they probably want to be they're pretty much right where they want to be. They want to be hitting in that 90 spot. They're at 47 at the half, so they're right on the mark. And they did a good job defensively. They held Brisbane to 26 points. Alternatively, you look at the Capitals, they only shot 35% from the field. They haven't hit a 3. They got to the free throw line only 4 times. They hit all 4 of those shots, but they need to help Delisha Lloyd. Delisha Lloyd is the only player in double figures for the Capitals. She's got 12 points on 5 of 10 shooting. Amy Lewis is the next leading scorer with 6 points. She only converted on 3 of 9 of her attempts. And you need to get more out of Amy Lewis as well. You can't just rely on Delisha Lloyd, or else it's going to be a long second half. It was a tough first half for Brisbane. They have a lot of things they need to tidy up to get back into this one, though.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things letting the Capitals down as well at the moment is that turnover count. The Capitals turning the ball over 12 times, whereas Logan only turning it over 5 in that category. And you look at the points from turnovers for Logan, they're sitting at 19, which is pretty damn close to what the difference is in the game here. So 19 points off those 12 mistakes has really made a big, big difference, whereas the Capitals have only got 2 points off turnovers, so really not capitalizing on those opportunities. So it really does make a big difference.
Dan, what are your thoughts? What are the adjustments you'd make if you were Coach Dudek at the half? What do you need to do to get back into this game if you're Caps?
Well, at this stage in the year, what have you been doing for the last month or 2 in practice? So it's hard to say what adjustments would you make. Well, hopefully you've been preparing to be up in the playoffs, you've been preparing to be down, you've been preparing for close finishes, you've been prepared for all different situations. So I agree, fellas, that they've got to find ways for these other girls to get involved, whether it's someone like a Grace Champion for a few minutes off the bench, or Amy Lewis, who's been one of your best players of the year, or whoever it is, but how are you going to get them involved? Just saying we need more out of you is not the answer. We're going to come out and run wing on balls, Amy Lewis is coming off, whatever it is you're going to run, you have to have offenses, and hopefully they can find a way to go back into their book of plays and draw up some sets to get these girls some better looks, and hopefully just slowly chip away at the lead. So in the last 4 or 5 minutes, you give yourself a chance, knowing it's not all going to come back in a couple of minutes here.
Yeah, as we see the Capitals take the ball out for the first time in the half, as Heidi Freeburn goes up for the inside jump shot and fouled on the way to the bucket as well. So 8 seconds in and picking up a foul. That one going against Ula Matuga. Heidi Freeburn going to the line for 2 free throws nice and early on.
Well, that's a really good sign for the Capitals coming out of the halftime break with getting Heidi Freeburn some action going to the basket. Freeburn is capable of dropping 20 in a half, so if they can get her going, that might open things up for Delisha Lloyd and Amy Lewis as well.
Well, I think getting more action going to the rim if you're the Capitals compared to what we saw in the first half is certainly going to help.
As we see Heidi Freeburn's second free throw just bounced out. Sarah Ambrose coming down with the rebound. Cassie Smith thinking about taking the 3-point shot, but hesitating and pulling it out to slow things down. Kicking the ball over. 12 seconds down on the shot clock as Kate Gaze pulls up at the free throw line and hits nothing but net on the jump shot.
I say it all the time, but that is just a tough shot from Gaze. Puts the ball on the floor, going to the left, rising up and shooting with the right hand. She makes it look easy, but she had Delisha Lloyd contesting that shot also. That was a great bucket.
Yeah, as we see nice offense down the other end of the court as Delisha Lloyd steps back into a long 2, bounces out and ends up falling in. And that's much better offense from Brisbane as well. It was about 4 or 5 quick passes leading into that Delisha Lloyd long jump shot. So the signs are definitely getting better for the Capitals here in the second half. Really starting to push themselves and pass the ball around for those open shots. Logan going on the inside though. Bucket's going to be waved away.
That's a tough call there against Freeburn. She was reaching in. I don't know if there was the contact there. It was just a really tough angle that the pass came in from.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of contact in there, but considering it played through straight away and made an easy bucket after the fact, it's probably a foul where, based on the way we've refereed the first half of this game, I don't think it was absolutely necessary. Just hold that whistle for that extra half a second. We could have played on, count the bucket, and move on. We wouldn't have had that stoppage. So we see Michaela Donnelly step out for a long three. Bounces out, comes down with the offensive rebound, though. 10 seconds left on the shot clock as Sarah Ambrose decides to take a long two of her own.
Well, Brisbane have got 3 stops in a row, fellas, but have also given up 3 offensive rebounds. They got 4 stops in 1 possession there, and they're going to have to try and secure the boards if they're going to get back into this game.
Yeah, there's just no real boxing out going on at the moment, Dan. The girls are crashing into the boards to try and pull it down. There's no boxing out. It's just a free-for-all underneath at the moment.
And I think Logan, though, they'd be disappointed with themselves on those possessions because they gave up easy buckets for long jump shots. You heard Coach Ken yelling out at them. They got to take the easy shot. They're making it more difficult for them on those possessions.
Yeah, nice long jump shot there from Amy Lewis. Puts another 2 on the board for the Capitals. The lead down to 18. As Ula Matuga flips one up in between 2 defenders. Steps out of bounds and turns it over for the Capitals.
Good recognition there by Logan. Matuga got great position. She probably forced it a little bit. That's going to come in time, I think. Matuga will recognize that double team, be able to kick it out a bit quicker.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that comes from being a little bit younger as well, and especially young and passionate. You really want to try and fight your way and make your mark on the game, but that's a kind of situation where you really do want to crash into the keyway, draw the defense, then kick out for that open wide shot. As Kate Gaze fights her way through traffic, nice little one-handed layup for 2. I mean, she's got such good form, and especially here tonight, she's absolutely on fire.
That's something we don't usually see out of Gaze, Dan. She recognized that there was an open lane to the basket, using the back to the bucket game.
I just like her demeanor. Her expression has not changed. Wow, I don't know what the hell that was. But Kate Gaze's demeanor has not changed at any stage this afternoon. She's just going about her work in all business. It's playoff time. You can tell she's locked in.
Yeah, so as we see a nice little Donnelly and Cassie Smith assist for the 2 points. And that was all form. Nice little fake it towards the pass. Puts the 2 on the board for Logan. As Delisha Lloyd drives strong down to the right. Nice little dish off to get the assist, Delisha Lloyd. Points going in there for Kate Hill.
And good creativity there by Lloyd.
Cassie Smith trying to take the long 3. That just bounces off the side of the rim. Amy Lewis coming down with the board for Capitals as she pulls up at the free throw line. Her bucket also just bouncing off the front, but they'll maintain it again out of court.
I don't like that shot there from Lewis. It's a fast break. She's going 1-on-2. She's got nobody underneath the basket to rebound for her, and she still pulls up for the jump shot. Yes, I know they need her offensively, but it's got to be smart shots, Dan.
Well, Brisbane, it appears to me, don't know the style of game they want to play. They're just playing whatever way that Logan let them.
Delisha Lloyd, step back jump shot's no good. And I think you're right, Dan, as well. Like, Brisbane really does seem rattled. They don't have any kind of determined style at the moment. It's just like exactly what you said. Whatever Logan's letting them do, Capitals are trying to do, and they're just not converting on those opportunities. Whereas Logan does have a very strong structure. They're playing amazing offense, and they're converting on over 50% of their opportunities.
And that's like awesome, obviously, for Logan, but it's not by mistake. It's great to have good players, but Coach Can, it seems to me anyway, from us sitting here, has them playing the style that they want, and they know what shots they want to get. Whereas Brisbane, on the other hand, are loud and energetic and playing hard, but they don't really know where they're going to get their stuff from, and they don't seem to be making any adjustments from an X's and O's point of view, which is going to make it hard for them to score points.
To me, the big difference in this game so far this afternoon is Logan is using their defense to create the tempo for themselves. They're playing defense, then offense. Luna Castro took a shot on the finger.
I think she has broke it.
She's in agony. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look right. She's in a lot of pain here. She's going to have to come off the court and see a trainer. It's not a good sign for Logan Thunder or Jackie Luna Castro.
The girls that looked at her finger all squirmed up their face and walked right away. So that, I don't know if it went through the skin, but it's a dislocation at best.
Yeah, I don't think there was
broken at
anything.
worst.
I don't think there was anything through the skin. I had a quick glance. It just looks like it's bent backwards. I definitely don't think it's a compound fracture at least, which will hopefully will be good news for Luna Castro. She gets taken off the court and back into the training rooms.
Well, I thought I just saw, trying to read lips there. I thought I saw Kate Gaze say something. I won't actually try and read lips, but they took Luna Castro to the back, so it's got to be something pretty serious. Let's hope that it's not too bad and that she'll be okay.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
we'll
a
try
little
and get you
finger.
some
Let's
updates.
hope it's dislocated. They can put it back in, tape it up next week, and she'll be okay. Best case, that's what it is. Hopefully that's all it is, fellas, because she's been playing really well.
She's been awesome. She's got 12 points on 6 of 7 shooting here this afternoon.
As Capitals come down with the defensive board there, Amy Lewis on the run down for Capitals, just pulling things out. Hopefully we see Capitals slow things down a little bit here. They've been very run and gun. Unfortunately not, as Heidi Freeman turns it over, giving Logan another opportunity. Mila Goodchild not able to keep her hands on the bucket there as she drives hard down the center and turns it over with a 3-second call in the keyway.
Yeah, it was a tough pass on the fast break for Goodchild. She got herself in a pretty bad spot there. The 3-second call was a good one. That's a blown opportunity for the Logan Thunder.
Yeah, and I think I'm just coming back to your point as well, Dan. Capitals really don't seem to have any kind of structure at the moment. They get the ball down the court. They've got 20 seconds left on the shot clock, and Heidi Freeburn just rushing things a little bit with Amy Lewis, both of them, and they turn it over on an opportunity where realistically they had 20 seconds to slow the ball down and look for the good opportunity, but instead they tried to rush and panic, and they just ended up turning it over. As we see the Capitals come down with another turnover. Great defense there from Goodchild, pressing up hard on Emma Reed.
That's 15 turnovers in the game for Brisbane. It's just really killing them too, because Logan scoring 21 points off of all those turnovers. Brisbane needs to take better care of the ball if they want to have any opportunity getting back into this. They're down 20 with 4:50 to go in the third.
And that's intimidating, but why not set the goal of being down 10 at three-quarter time? That's achievable. So how are we going to get there? And I agree, fellas. Just the purpose offensively is what's letting them down at the moment. But at the same time, give Logan credit. They're controlling the game really well.
Yeah, as much as I hate to say it, it does look like Capitals have given up a little bit. They're just rushing and they're not playing the game of basketball that we've seen them play all season. As Amy Lewis turns it over again. Goodchild passing up for Sarah Ambrose off the steal. Nice little inside pass there. Ambrose just kicking out to Michaela Donnelly. She converts the two.
Ambrose has had not a quiet game, but you look at the stat sheet, you won't see what she does. She's doing a great job defensively. We've seen her match up with the Capitals 5, pretty much 1 through 5 defensively, and then offensively she's doing a great job on the glass and being creative, creating shots not only for herself but for her teammates.
Yeah, well, you look at the stat sheet, and she hasn't got any points on the board yet, but she has managed to pull down 8 rebounds, and I think she's got three assists if my stats haven't updated as well. So having a really good impact, but defensively as well. She's playing nice uptight defense and really making it hard for Capitals to get the ball passed around.
And she's taking the shots that are available to her, that are within her range. I think that's really important. Even though she hasn't got on the stat sheet, you still have to take the shots that are given to you when they're given to you, or else teams will just sag off of you. And that, I think, also plays into the hands of what the Logan Thunder are trying to do, because they really aren't a one-man team. I know Gaze is always the leading scorer. She's one of the top scorers in the competition. But if you focus on Gaze, Logan has a lot of other players that can hurt you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but you look at the NBA, and you can't just have a one-horse team either. Like, having one great player does not make a grand final team. So the fact that Kate Gaze, yes, she is the highest point scorer in the team and one of the best in the competition, to have the amazing backup and support from her teammates in the likes of, you know, Cassie Smith and Ula Matuga and Luna Castro and all of the girls on that court, it makes a very, very big difference when you've got those players that can make the passes. They've got the basketball smarts to look up, to read the play, and then help Kate Gaze get those buckets.
Yeah, well, Gaze is having a great game so far tonight. She's got 21. Donnelly, though, at the moment, she's carving up that Capitals defense.
Delisha Lloyd, nice little pass downfield. Can't quite get the handles on it. So turnover there going against Aldred. Capitals really struggling here in the third quarter, turning the ball over 4 or 5 times in the last 2 minutes, making it very hard to get points on the bucket.
I see you getting hulked up here, Dan. This is your song. Get pumped up, baby.
Oh, I was too focused on the game. I didn't notice, but are our listeners tired of Jeff Horn shout-outs, do you think?
No way. How could you?
How could
He's
you
a
be?
legend.
Horn Pacquiao rematch coming soon.
You're gonna go?
It does not matter where in the world that fight is, I will be there.
Philippines. You're gonna go to the Philippines?
I will be there wherever it is.
All right.
There's no doubt. Although I think I don't know if I think it'll be at Etihad is my guess, but Brisbane, I think our first right of refusal. But
Well, have they confirmed the date and location?
no, they've not. I think in the next couple of weeks they will, but if it's in Brisbane, the only indoor centre we've got is the entertainment centre. It can't be there. Not enough capacity. And it can't be outdoors with the storms we get, and it'll be 40 degrees. So I reckon Etihad, if the roof's shut, will be the choice, but I don't know. Who knows?
Wait and see as we come back to the action as well. Picking up a foul on a nice open layup. So Delisha Lloyd making the easy bucket. She's going to go to the line for an extra shot as well. Mila Goodchild picking up the foul from Logan.
Hey, we haven't seen a lot of Woodford here this afternoon. She's been a tremendous contributor for the Capitals throughout the season.
Yeah, she's only seen just over 10 minutes on the court in the game so far. But you're exactly right. She's had a massive impact in the games that we've covered at least. So I'm not too sure what she's done in the rounds where we're not covering. But she's been majorly impacting, but just hasn't been on the court much tonight.
That's a tough bucket there from Matuga. She's really impressive young player.
She is absolutely impressive. And Brisbane, if you went back a couple of minutes ago, Coach Dudek is on the sideline just saying, just settle down, girls. And they've done a much better job of taking her advice and running through their offense. And it just shows what they're capable of. And that's why they're probably frustrated that all afternoon hasn't been like that, because the last few minutes, their point production has been really good and the style of game they've been playing has been really great.
Yeah, as Amy Lewis takes a nice little step-back jumper for two, and Heidi Freeburn down the other end gets the steal and a nice bucket down the court. And Coach Can not real happy about what he's just seen. 4 quick points for Capitals, so Coach Can is going to go to the bench for a timeout. So we're going to take a quick break as well, but we'll be back with you shortly for more live QBL quarterfinal action presented by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. And back with you here at Cornubia Park Sports Complex as we bring you the last 2 minutes of the third quarter in the QBL quarterfinal between Logan Thunder and Brisbane Capitals. Capitals just starting to break away a little bit in that last couple of minutes, getting a couple of quick points to take the lead back down to 16 for Logan Thunder as they bring the ball back in.
And there's no way that Logan should lose up 19, up 16 at this point. But if I'm the Capitals, if I can get it back to 10 or even 12 at three-quarter time, you are absolutely a chance. Luna Castro, hopefully she's fine, but she's probably done for today at least. So that, sadly for Logan, but it gives Capitals a chance with one less great player on the floor. So just stay composed. You're down big, but it's not unsurmountable as Delisha Lloyd shows her touch as she's done all day long.
Yeah, like you said, Dan, as well, that takes the lead back down to 14 for Logan. So if they can get a couple of quick stops here, put a couple of baskets up for themselves, the lead back down to 10, and 10 points is definitely doable in a fourth quarter of basketball.
Oh, there's no doubt. And when you're at home and you give up a big lead and it's all of a sudden a 1 or 2 possession game, you do get tight. You can feel the home crowd start to get nervous, and that's tough to play in. And Coach Dudek, in the last 5-6 minutes, has done a much better job, I think, of, I'm not sure about that call, but she's done a much better job of really letting Brisbane know what they're trying to run, and the girls on the floor have done a really good job at taking her lead, and they've been executing.
It's been a Brisbane quarter. They're up 19-12 in the fourth quarter to cut this lead down to 14. That turnover hurt them, and Coach Can goes back to the bench, reinserting Cassie Smith and Sarah Ambrose. Brisbane made a majority of that run with those two on the bench, so I'm expecting better offense and defense from Logan, and you see it right away. Cassie Smith making an impact, great cut, and a great look from Gaze.
Yeah, immediate insert from Cassie Smith does make a big difference. She goes to the bucket straight away. The lead still down to 16. Brisbane definitely still in it. A couple of quick points here will make a big difference. Delisha Lloyd again goes inside, spins to the basket, can't quite convert. They have a jump ball on the floor, and that's going to favor the Capitals again.
That shot was a bit rushed there from Lloyd. She had a really good matchup. She probably rushed it just a bit. She takes a little bit more time, takes another dribble maybe. She created the space well. The shot was just a bit flat, and I think it was because she rushed it.
So just waiting to get the floor wiped up. Girls playing very hard here today, getting the floor a little bit wet. It's not normally you see too many stops in the women's games.
And just an update on Luna Castro. We haven't seen her return from the back. I'll try and find at the quarter time if I could get an update on the injury.
As Delisha Lloyd again, step back jump shot from just inside the free throw line. Bounces down, comes up in the hands of Logan. So 45-61, about 4-second differential between game clock and shot clock. As Kate Gaze goes strong on the inside and makes the bucket, but they're going to wave it away and call the foul on the ground. Heidi Freeburn picking up the hold.
That's 3 team fouls on Brisbane. It was a tough move from Freeburn. She definitely blocked the pass. She tried to step in front of Gaze, making the cut to the bucket.
Again, that's a foul where I wouldn't mind seeing the referees hold that whistle for an extra half a second, count Kate Gaze's basket, and then just continue playing as well. Because that gives Heidi Freeburn her 3rd foul, which probably wasn't 100% essential, I don't think, as Kate Gaze takes the long 3 on the buzzer, extending the lead 64-45. So they'll go into the 3-quarter break, 19 points up.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Those ones always hurt you when you give up a shot at the buzzer. We saw it a couple times last night, Dan, and that could be the backbreaker there.
Well, there's a couple of possessions to finish that quarter. Delisha Lloyd goes inside and gets bumped, no call. And I think Coach Dudek thought that foul that was called with Kate Gaze in possession was the exact same contact. It was called, that upset her, and then Brisbane obviously didn't get a hand up and it cost them 3 points. So that's from a Brisbane team that was starting to play really well, looked a bit more comfortable, closing the lead. They let it sneak out again, and we've got a 19-point deficit, which in all fairness should be too much to overcome if Logan do what they're meant to do.
Yeah, that kind of play definitely does rattle you, but it is 3-quarter time, 64-45, the Logan Thunder in the lead here at home. So we'll take a quick break, but we're with you shortly for more live QBL quarterfinal action presented by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. And welcome back to Cornubia Park Sports Complex as we bring you the last quarter in the quarterfinal action between Logan Thunder and Brisbane Capitals. John, I just saw that you jumped up to go and have a check to see how Luna Castro is going. Do you have an update for us?
Yeah, unfortunately for Jackie Luna Castro, it was a compound fracture of her little pinky finger. So she's out. I think she's on her way to the hospital to get that treated. It's a really unfortunate injury. She was having a great game in her first game back after playing for the Mexican national team. It's going to be a tough loss, but we hope Jackie Luna Castro is okay and that she recovers well and quickly for herself, for her family, and also for the Logan Thunder.
Yeah, I haven't seen many broken fingers in my days, but a little pinky, surely she won't be out for too long, so I don't know how long she's going to have to sit out, but hopefully we can see her back again shortly, depending on what the doctors say. But we do wish all the best to Luna Castro as she does head off to hospital. But we bring you the fourth quarter here. Logan Thunder in the lead over the Brisbane Capitals in the last quarter. And Logan starts things off with Cassie Smith taking a step back jump shot, bouncing out, and Heidi Freeburn coming down with the board.
Well, looking ahead, fellas, who do we expect Logan to have next week, assuming they hold on and win today?
It would be Mackay.
Yeah, so that's at home in Logan, so that's obviously an advantage. And we saw Mackay at Logan not long ago, and it was a really good game. And with Nadine Payne and those girls that Mackay bring down, Willie and the like, they need Luna Castro on the floor, obviously. So hopefully it's a Sunday and that gives her an extra day. But if it's come through the skin, you would expect it to have a little operation. If it was regular season, maybe she'd have a couple weeks off, but hopefully she can tape it up and play next week because she's really important for Logan. You know what's funny, fellas? Just looking at the stats from three-quarter time, I mean, Logan are up 3 on the rebound count. That's not a huge advantage. They've turned it over 12 times to Brisbane's 18, so doing a better job looking after the ball. They've had 55 shots, Logan, 7 more than Brisbane, but these are all not going to point to a 19-point difference. Brisbane's 0-4 from downtown, which is a bit of a surprise looking at the way they play. There's no real big. They're fairly small. You'd expect them to be a bit more of a threat from the perimeter. They just haven't had it going today. And maybe that's why it's time to roll the dice and put someone like Grace Champion or Woodford or these girls on for extended minutes and just give them the green light and see if they can get hot.
Yeah, for me, if I'm Brisbane, I'm trying to get Heidi Freeburn going, both inside and out. She hasn't really she's taken 5 shots. She's 2 of 5. None of those shots are from 3. She's a capable shooter. You need to get her to step up. This is crunch time here. You're down 19. You only got 9 minutes left. You got to do something to get the offense going here.
Yeah, and same with Captain Amy Lewis as well. I mean, she's only 5 from 14, so she hasn't really fired off at the moment either. So if those two girls can get off, we can definitely pull this down into a single-digit game if Amy Lewis and Heidi Freeburn start hitting some of those shots and just looking for the correct opportunities.
Well, I just want to change topics there for a second because we got a message from Jackie Luna Castro. She's in good spirits. She said her finger, she doesn't use her little finger to shoot, so it sounds like she's looking forward to playing next week if Logan advances.
How do you know that?
Oh, we got it through from one of the Logan managers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I kind of feel like a little pinky is kind of like a little toe. It's not really essential in sport, so just tape it up.
Well,
and hopefully we'll
Joel's
see her next
using
week.
the little pinky toe to change the score and do all the updates, so it's important for the production panel at least.
Fellas, Gerald Green, the Boston Celtics high-flying superstar that we've all seen on YouTube with his head on the rim, I don't think he has a pinky finger on his shooting hand.
You're right.
So, Jackie, there are no excuses. We'll see you next week. Big playoff game coming up.
I thought I was sure that she was on her way to the hospital. I'm surprised that we got that update, but it's good to hear that she's in good spirits. She definitely left the court in a lot of agony. It was probably also scary to see a compound fracture.
Yeah, it's definitely not something that you'd want to see. Bone sticking out of your own finger, not good. As we see Kate Gaze drain a 3-point shot again down their end of the field. Not much is going to be stopping her tonight.
I always do find it quite amusing when players and coaches complain about the refereeing. This has been one of the best refereed games I've seen. There's been a lot of physical play. Referees are letting it go both ways. I feel like they're calling a very well-balanced game. We're 2 minutes in, there's 4 fouls called, and it hasn't been anything different from what it is. So I don't understand what players and coaches are complaining about.
I think as a player, especially in any game, but especially in the playoffs, all you want is for the players to decide who wins and not the referees having it. And there is absolutely no doubt that the players are deciding today who's winning the ball game. So from that point of view, I agree. The officiating's been fantastic, and it is most weeks. We're really lucky. The quality of referees that we have in our league is really high.
Yeah, definitely so. And I don't think we've, correct me if I'm wrong, John, but I don't think we've actually hit foul trouble once in the game so far. So the foul count has been incredibly low, and that comes from not only 2 great teams out on the field, but 2 great referees that can actually read the play and they're willing to play the advantage. And, you know, just let the girls decide on the floor and let them play tough physical basketball. I mean, going back a couple of years ago when I was still refereeing the QBL, the quality was nowhere near as good as what it is now. So the fact that we can have really tough, intense women's basketball is incredible. And it's only going to help the WNBL and other leagues around Australia.
Yeah, we see Delisha Lloyd. She's got to come out of the game because she's picked up her 4th personal. So she's really the only player for either team in foul trouble at this point in the game.
Heidi Freeburn fighting her way through the keyway, manages to get one to roll home. As we said, Heidi Freeburn needs to get a couple of quick buckets here. She hasn't managed to find her form just yet, but she can easily hit a lot of shots from deep as well.
That was just a tough bucket. Ambrose did a good job defensively. Now she hits the jump shot on the other end.
Yeah, as we said, Ambrose having a really stellar game for Logan. You can't really see it on the stat sheet, but both defensively and offensively, she's been playing a very, very tough game of basketball.
Aldridge hits it and gets the foul. So that's Aldridge's first bucket of the afternoon. That's a tough one as well. It's almost too little too late, though. There's still 7 minutes to go. You never want to call it over with 7 minutes left, but 22 points. The way Brisbane has been playing this afternoon, it's going to be really, really a huge ask for them to try and come back.
Yeah, if it was 101 to 79 or something like that, that's different. But having scored 49 points in 3.5 quarters, that's tough to bring back from a 22-point deficit at this stage. So I reckon it is enough, but I mean, Brisbane, you put in so much time during the season that you owe it to yourself to finish the game really strongly, and Logan have bigger things on their mind as well, so they want to finish strongly, so we should still see a really high-quality 7 minutes of basketball here.
Yeah, as we see Logan Thunder sub out Sarah Ambrose. That was her 4th personal foul, so she'll sit out for a little bit. As the lead's taken back down 50-71. Logan still in the lead as Kate Gaze takes a step right and drains the jump shot for 2. She extends her point score out to 29. Your 40-point estimate, Dan, might not be too far off.
Well, I reckon she'll see another 2 or 3 minutes and then she'll take a seat and make room for some of these younger girls. So I think she'll not quite get there, but she's been super impressive all afternoon, that's for sure.
Well, she came out like a house on fire and really hasn't cooled off much since.
Capitals again going strong down the center of the court to the bucket. Picking up a foul is Goodchild on the inside. Capitals will regain the ball on the base. And subs for the Capitals as well. Kate Heal's going to come out and take a bit of a rest as Bowden subs in for the first time here today. Sorry, second time. Long shot from Amy Reed is good for 2. Logan again slowing things down as Kate Gaze pulls up at the free throw line for a jumper. She's fouled, that one going against Bowden. So Kate Gaze will go to the line for 2. So Dan, on what you were talking about earlier in terms of next week's semi-finals, by the looks of it, this game will go in the favour of Logan and they will take on Mackay here at home. How do you see things panning out there? Do you reckon Logan has what it takes to put Mackay away?
Well, I think the short answer is definitely, and they're the 2 seed on the season and they've got home court, and you would therefore owe them the respect to say that they absolutely do have that ability. I think if Jackie does not play and you've got Nadine Payne and Willie and you have to correct me, John, on your college again.
Shavannah Palvost
from
Monmouth University.
Monmouth, I was going to say Montford. From Monmouth's finest, Shavannah Palvost coming back down. With that front court, they're going to need all hands on deck, Logan, and that will be an awesome match. But from what we've seen so far today, Logan are going to take a lot of beating, and Ipswich really pushed Mackay last night in Mackay, 4-point game. So based on what we've seen in the first week of the playoffs, you'd say Logan are the favourites, but that'll be an awesome game to watch, and hopefully we get to cover it and we see it live.
Yeah, speaking of which as well, make sure you do keep an eye out on the Basketball Queensland Facebook page throughout the week. We haven't quite locked in where we're going to be covering yet in the women's action, whether it be at Brisbane Spartans taking on Gladstone, or whether it'll be here, Logan Thunder, potentially taking on Mackay, as we see a timeout taken on the floor. So we're going to take a quick rest as well, but we're back with you shortly for more QBL quarterfinal action presented by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. And welcome back to Cornubia Park Sports Complex as we continue to bring you the live quarterfinal action between Logan Thunder and Brisbane Capitals. 52-77. Logan has extended their lead out to 25 in this fourth quarter. Just over 5.5 minutes of action left to go. And just to follow on from what we were saying before we went to the breakdown, Mackay is an absolutely tough team, and I think Logan will definitely give them a run for their money, especially if Luna Castro isn't in the game. But hopefully, like you said, we do get to cover this game because I think it'll be a good one. But what do you reckon Mackay's biggest advantage is going to be if they do come down here to Logan?
Well, it's got to be their size, I would think, and with like Nadine Payne's fantastic. As little Harvey seems to be causing some trouble over here. Want some playing time. But Harvey's my almost 2-year-old for anyone who doesn't know who I just mentioned. But Nadine Payne, Willie, Palvis, their front court's awesome. Michaela Cox, very, very good in the backcourt too. But that'll just be a great game to watch. But the Spartans Gladstone game with Cassie Rochelle in the front court against a smaller Spartans outfit, like they're going to be quality games next weekend. And so hopefully there's a Saturday, Sunday, and we can watch both, hopefully, but we'll wait and see.
Well, we had the Gladstone Spartans game, and we got cheated out of that game because both Rochelle and Tabitha Richardson-Smith, the two imports for Gladstone, picked up early foul trouble. I think both of them fouled out early into the third quarter, so it wasn't a true contest, I should say. So I expect Gladstone will want to come into that one, and they'll have some revenge on their mind, and they are a really quality team. They need both of those players if they want to pull off the upset over Spartans. And like you said, Logan versus Mackay, it's always going to be a great matchup because both teams have so much firepower. If you kind of lose track of anyone could explode in either of those games. So two great matchups looking like it's going to be next weekend. Yeah,
I don't think it matters where we go, John, whether we do end up going out to Spartans to cover the Gladstone game or whether we do come back here to Cornubia Park to cover Logan versus Mackay. Either game is going to be incredibly to be covered, but hopefully so. Hopefully it is a Saturday, Sunday, and who knows, we might get to cover both, which would be ideal.
And similarly with the men's competition, it's going to be two rivalry games with the grand final spot on the line. You've got Mackay taking on Rockhampton in Mackay, and then Cairns taking on Townsville in Townsville. Two huge rivalries in a semifinal with the spot on the grand final on the line. It's going to be a great, great semifinal weekend in both women's and men's competition.
Yeah, next week is going to be absolutely incredible. No matter where you are in the great state of Queensland, it's going to be some amazing basketball action. But speaking of basketball action, we come back on the floor as we see another offensive foul called. Neither team really playing great offense, it seems, this game. I think that's got to be about the 9th offensive foul we've seen called in the game so far.
And both teams are in the penalty now, so could be a long 4 minutes, 40 seconds in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully the girls do just play the game out. Amy Lewis looking to put the ball on the ground and punish hard through the court. Alicia Lloyd flips one up, but that's no good. 3 seconds left on the shot clock. Nice long shot there from Emma Reed. That's no good either.
Smith with the big block from behind on Delisha Lloyd. It's about the second one, I think, of Cassie Smith has had so far this afternoon. They're only going to credit her with that one as the first block. Another offensive foul call as Smith was battling for a position with Heidi Freeburn. Kirisome and Jaden Fuiava are going to check in for Michaela Donnelly and Cassie Smith. Wonder if that's it for Donnelly and Smith for the afternoon.
I think it will be, especially Cassie Smith. We saw her a couple of weeks ago tweak her knee, which is not great with the history of some knee trouble. So she's looked really good today, but there's no point in risking her at all. So I think she should sit down, grab some ice, and look forward to next week.
Delisha Lloyd just picked up her 5th personal off the ball, fouling Kate Gay, so she's done for the afternoon. And Gay's going to go to the free throw line for a couple shots, it looks like.
Yeah, it's a great last game performance from Delisha Lloyd, though. And she's had an absolutely incredible season as well. So unfortunate for her to foul out in her last game in the season here in the QBL. But she's had an absolutely incredible game. Looking at the stats, she's got herself 20 points, shooting at 45% from the field, 50% from two-point land as well. None from two for the three-point line. but she's managed to pull down 9 boards as well, so almost that double-double. So she's had a really great, outstanding performance, and she's had an amazing season as well throughout the entire QBL.
And we saw the Capitals. I watched them in the preseason, and earlier in the season they had their other import, Ariel Butts, and she was just added another dimension to the team. She was an inside presence, and I really think when they got rid of her is kind of when the season went a bit haywire for Brisbane. She was the focus of their offense. They designed almost all their offense to play through Ariel Butts in the post. One knock on her was she couldn't stay on the floor. She kept picking up too many fouls and fouling out of the game. But when you design your offense and you work towards that offense and then that player is gone, it takes a while to readjust, and I think the Capitals really struggled to do that.
I agree, John, and the games we saw early, she was certainly a focus point, and they ran everything through her. So I think her stepping away or being asked to step away, whatever happened mid-season, definitely doesn't help them, and it just shows they've today had a hard time getting into some type of rhythm, and maybe they've felt a bit disjointed ever since that change took place.
It's just that steadying presence and knowing where you're running your offense and where you're going to be getting the offense from. We've said it all afternoon here today, but the Capitals are struggling to find someone to create opportunities. They don't really seem to have that one player that they know can get them a bucket. And that post presence with Butts, like I said, she did struggle a bit to stay on the floor, but she was a definite presence in the paint. She drew in some extra defenders. She opened things up for those perimeter players as well.
Yeah, I definitely think so, and it's always a troublesome point as well, where mid-season you do lose one of your imports. I mean, that does cause a very big disruption in the team, especially when they were leading the offense as much as you said, John. And I mean, outside of Delisha Lloyd, who we consistently see perform into the 20-point range week in, week out, there isn't really anyone else on the Brisbane Capitals team that has taken charge. I mean, Amy Lewis and Heidi Freeman have stepped up a little bit in the game here tonight, getting themselves into double points. But outside of that, no one else has stepped up and taken charge. And the offense does seem to be a little bit all over the place. And there's just been no structure. I think that's probably been what's let the Capitals down a little bit.
And we do have to give Logan Thunder some credit, too. They played a great game defensively, I think. They really shut down the Capitals and kept players like Amy Lewis quiet and Heidi Freeburn quiet. And in all honesty, they did keep Delisha Lloyd in check. She was 9 of 20 from the field for 20 points, but they made her work for those 20 points, and they forced her into foul trouble. So the Capitals did struggle. Some of that credit, though, has to go to Logan because they did a great job defensively. Holding any team to 54 points with 2 minutes to go in any game is a successful effort on the defensive end.
Yeah, especially when they're pulling down 43 rebounds as well. I mean, Logan's really performed defensively. Because of those 43, 27 rebounds of those were defensive. So they have been absolutely crashing the boards and capitalizing on every opportunity where the Capital shots have gone awry. And they have done an amazing job to keep a Brisbane Capitals team that can easily score 70, 80 points down to 54.
And standing O for Sarah Ambrose as she's going to get the rest of the afternoon off. Few players from the bench checking in for Logan. You've got, I'm looking at the wrong team here. You got Honoree checking in and also Asia Pepe.
So Bowden's first free throw is good. Second just bounces out, but she'll go back to the line for another opportunity to get the bucket. As John takes over babysitting duties here on the commentary panel.
I got my man Harvey George, the future #1 pick, sitting on my lap. He can do whatever he wants. He's the #1 pick in about 15 years, 16 years.
Well, you do have a Knicks hat on.
I mean, we're gonna.
That might be the answer. You got a while to wait.
I don't know if I could. Well, I've waited. I'm nearly 40, so I've waited quite a while. I think I could wait a little while longer.
Another couple of decades.
So just under 2 minutes to go here in the quarterfinal between Logan and Brisbane. 56-83. Logan starting to extend their lead a little bit further. As Mila Goodchild just steps out and turns it over. Capitals will have another couple of opportunities in the game to get some points.
Yeah, both teams emptying the bench here, and rightfully so. There's a minute 30 to go. Capitals, I think they had some really high hopes heading into the season. I think they're happy to make the finals, but I think they'd be disappointed where they're going to finish the season, Dan.
I think so too, and we spoke about it during the men's last night that Brisbane put out their newsletter during the week like they've done every week this whole season. And the first sentence was, as Queensland's biggest club or biggest organisation, so for them and the men to get knocked out in the first round and then for the women to come 7th and get knocked out in the first round, I mean, that's a disappointing season. And I guess with the size of organisation they are and the fact that it's been a while since they won a title, I'm sure they had much higher hopes than first round exits for both teams. But equally, they've also shown that there's enough young talent coming through to have a really nice foundation. And so there's lots of positives for them to build on, but they do have some work to do in the off-season, men and women.
Harvey, what are you doing? He wants to grab the mic. Maybe he's not going to be a basketball player. He might be a musician. He wants the microphone.
That's okay.
We'll do a bit of everything.
Future NBN media commentator, that's what he is.
Get him on the commentary,
whatever he
Harvey.
wants to do is fine with me. And if it doesn't be basketball, that's cool. I've already told him you don't have to play basketball every day. Just most days is fine at the moment.
Yeah.
He's my last hope because both my girls have no interest in basketball at all.
That might change. They're still young.
I would be stunned. So Harvey's my last chance to live through my kids vicariously, so he needs to step up.
I think now Logan, now that we know for sure that the matchup is going to be Logan versus Mackay, I think like we were alluding to earlier, though, it's going to be some great semifinal matchups. The women's competition was very top-heavy, and I think we definitely have seen the 4 best teams advancing to the semifinals. There was no upset like in the men's competition. The games next weekend are going to be absolutely phenomenal. It's going to be a really tough decision to see between Basketball Queensland and us which games we actually cover in both the women and the men's competition, because both are equally going to be fantastic matchups.
Yeah, I don't think it matters where BQ ends up deciding to send us and what we work out, John. Every single game that we cover from here on in is going to be incredible, and it's going to be close. I mean, you're going to be heading up north, either to Townsville or to Mackay, I believe, to cover the men's. Yeah. Dan George and I will be staying down here either at Logan or in Spartans, I believe, covering the women's. You're not happy about that? You want to travel in the end?
No, I'm happy. I am happy with that. I'm looking forward to seeing this Logan team continue on their ways next week, or seeing Gladstone come down to the Spartans and really challenge Southern Districts. So I'm more than happy to cover the women. It's a quality competition, so
yeah,
it'll be a great week of basketball.
Yeah, we've seen some great games throughout the women's QBL action this year, and it picks up year on year in the women's QBL. There's some amazing players that are coming through the ranks. And like commenting on Logan as well, you've got the likes of Mila Goodchild really stepping up from that junior development stop, coming through the ranks in the Logan Association. And she's had some amazing weeks. Same as Sarah Ambrose. She's been here as long as I can remember. And it's great to see the juniors being developed by such a strong team.
And credit to Logan. They did what they had to do. They got out to a great start. They really opened things up in that first quarter, and then they handled their business. That's a tough thing to do. The pressure was all on Logan today. They handled that with ease, really. Capitals were really never a threat in this game, and that's credit to Logan. They did what they had to do to set up the big matchup next weekend versus Mackay.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go through some final stats and have some final thoughts before we move on. John, you got a stat sheet in front of you. What's it looking like for the girls?
Well, Logan was led by Kate Gay. She finishes with 33 points. She shot 57% from the field, 71% from 3, and she was a perfect 4-4 from the free throw line. She had 2 rebounds and 2 assists, also had 3 steals. Just a phenomenal game from Gaze, and it started right from the opening tip. Overall, Logan shot 46% from the field, 33% from 3, and they hit on 88% of their free throws. They did out-rebound Brisbane, which is a little surprising, 48-37, and 17 of those rebounds were offensive. They forced 21 turnovers for Brisbane, and they scored 27 points off of those turnovers. That's Logan to a T. A lot of pressure, a lot of fast break points, a lot of easy opportunities. They capitalized on that. Also in double figures for the Logan Thunder was Cassie Smith with 16. Jackie Luna Castro, before her injury, had 12 points. And then Michaela Donnelly finished with 11 points. So really well-balanced attack. And then you look at Brisbane. They shot 34% from the field. They didn't hit a three-pointer. They were 0 of 11 from three-point land. And in this day and age, Dan, You have to be able to hit the three. You have to be a threat from three. This afternoon, that didn't help Brisbane.
No, you're exactly right, and you don't need to come out and shoot the three ball all day, but you have to be able to keep the defense honest, because if you don't, it just lets Logan really sag in, and I think as a result, Brisbane had a hard time getting to the line, getting to the rim, because Logan didn't have to guard the three as hard as they ordinarily would have, but that was not a usual performance from Brisbane. Usually I would think they shoot the ball a bit better, so just mark it down to a tough loss against a very good team, and both sides move on, and Logan prepare for next week, and Brisbane reevaluate what went wrong and what they need to fix for next season.
Yeah, definitely so. So before we wrap things up, let's just quickly go through some final thoughts. John, what do you think about the games next week?
They're going to be great games. It's really set up for the top four. It's going to be tough to pick. Brisbane finishes the game, finish the season undefeated, so they certainly have to be the favorites. But I think any of those four teams could potentially be grand finalists and champions of this competition. Logan, I think, showed their mettle today. They came out, they did what they had to do to set up the big matchup next week. I have no predictions. You just kind of toss it up in the air and see who falls.
Dan?
Well, I think you have to say the Spartans at home, undefeated, regular and now finals. Excuse me, you would expect them, you would think, to go in as pretty heavy favourites next week against Gladstone, who are a very good team, not to be underestimated. And Logan at Mackay. Logan are the favourites, I think, because they've earned home court. But that's going to be a coin toss, really, to see who comes out. But either way, whoever wins the title is going to absolutely earn it out of these four really, really good, very professional women's programs we're going to see next weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got no preferences either way. I just love to see a very, very strong competition this year in the QBL with a wealth of talent coming through the ranks. So that about wraps it up. Keep an eye on the Basketball Queensland Facebook page for more updates as to what games we will be covering next week. Everything will be posted there, so you get to see where we'll be. But we will be covering one men's game and one women's game at the bare minimum, and then every single game in the Grand Final Series as well. Before we cut out, I do have to quickly thank Chris Sieber up on the camera for me, Joel Baker on the production panel, John Guana, Dan George commentating with me. My name's been Regan Baker. We'll see you guys next week for the semi-finals. This has been QBL quarterfinal action presented by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia.